Season 13, episode 3. So, April, there are only two people in this world. Which one are you? Are you a saver or are you a spender? Which one are you?
I would say for sure saver. I don't like spending money.
You just don't like it? Like it doesn't excite you?
No, doesn't excite me. I literally hate to shop. And sadly, I was blessed. That's like, I don't know. Can you be sad to be blessed? I don't know. But sadly blessed that I have two daughters who love to shop. And I literally despise it. Like, despise it.
Okay. All right. I am a saver until I'm not.
Mm,
And I'm also a quality person. I'm not a sale person. So
mm.
just to pull the curtain back in the Scott household, Jennifer definitely is a spender, 100%. And she has struck gold if there's a giant sale and she comes home with 50 things. I would much rather spend $50 on the really awesome one, maybe two things, and I would come out feeling like $1 million. But for her, she feels like she saved $1 million by spending $50 on 50 different things. So I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, I'm definitely a saver until it makes sense to go out and grab the thing that you're looking for and spend money for it. So
Yeah, it's all good. Everyone to each its own, right? To each
to
its
each his
own.
own. There's not one way to do it. Not that
There is not.
anyways.
There is
Yeah.
not one way
So
to do it. And
no judgment.
also, yeah, we're not judging.
Right.
There's more than one way to do a lot of things, and all month long we're talking about just boundaries and just how to manage that tension between like building your business but then spending your time on what matters most. And what we're saying is there may not be one right way or one wrong way, but we do want to spark your thoughts today. We want you to think about, holidays are coming up. A lot of people have things that are added to their schedule that aren't normally there. So it's like, how do you manage this tension? And last week we talked about margin and creating margin and what that looks like or what that could look like. And today we're just going to continue that conversation all about how to really put your family first and honor the people that matter the most to you. And I know, like, man, I feel like that's a huge tension. There's a huge tension because there are things we have to get done in our businesses, like non-negotiables. But at the same time, we want to make sure that our families feel like they are first and not that the business is first. And for me, that's my journey with this started with how I communicate boundaries. I think a lot of people, they make the boundaries in their lives, but because they don't communicate those boundaries, then it may appear to the other people in your life that they're not important. So weeks that I know that, man, my schedule for business is crazy, I make sure to communicate that to my family. Like, hey, just a heads up, this week I've got this going on. So here's where I may be pulled. And I feel like there's been some success with my family because I'm open about what's going on and creating the schedule instead of what I used to do is like behind the scenes, try to juggle 50 things. And then my kids are like, Mom, can you do this? And I've already got 50 things in the air. I'm like, yeah, sure. Give me that 51st ball to juggle. I'm fine until I'm not fine. Like
Mm.
until all the balls fall. But now if my kids know I've got the 50 things in the air, they're less likely to then add one more thing. Like, oh, wait, we know Mom has this week. Let's wait. So I know your kids are younger, Mitchell, than mine. They might not be able to communicate like, what they need. It might be in real time for you with their ages, but how do you communicate boundaries to your family when things like get crazy?
It's funny, and I thank you for assuming that I'm the expert in communicating and my kids are the ones that don't. Jennifer and I both agree on this, that not only our stress and our disagreements and our things that we have issues with between one another, our family, our marriage, or whatever, but it goes into business, it goes into life in general. It's funny how it usually it drills down to communication or the lack thereof, or ineffective communication. Maybe you are. I have no problem communicating, but am I being effective with it? And so, anyways, to answer your question, as far as boundaries of communicating, like I think there could be unmovables. I think there's some super safe zones where you never, I think there's some, like a step up from that would be just a good boundary that you always need to live with. Always when you talk about business, when you talk about life and mixing the two. But I think there also are busy seasons and communicating that, listen, this is an asterisk. This is a outlier. This is a busy season that's going to be coming up. I think it's okay to explain that, hey, between this time and this time, this is going to be more busy than normal. This is going to impede on what our normal flow is, our normal rhythm. But please understand, just give me grace. This is going to change. This is the result of that. Because we're going to do this, this is what's going to be the outcome, and it's going to be good for everybody.
Yeah, I love your point. Make sure it's just a season because when we overextend ourselves, it is not a sustainable way of life. And I think I just want to just point that out. I'm sure everyone listening knows that, but sometimes you just need to hear it
Yeah.
because there have been long seasons that I've walked through that I've been in an overextension season, and then it's not until, like, I hit a wall when I'm like, "Oh, wait, not good, April, not good. Let's reset." I've had plenty of days where I'm like, "I just need a reset day because my schedule's out of control right now." And then I have to pause and take a look at things and reprioritize and all the things.
And I'm going to
And
interrupt real quick.
yeah.
I think it's also okay to say that. It's not
Mhm,
to take time and say, "Hey, I need a beat. Give me a break here. I need a day." Like, and I
mhm,
understand that time is money. I get time is you won't ever get that time back. And maybe as a mother, maybe as a wife, and I could speak to mine, and I could, and just an entrepreneur in general, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. There's things that you eat all the time. There's things that you eat attitudes, and you eat this, you eat that, and you bottle it down. You just eat it, and then until you're full, you can't anymore. And you're going to have to decompress. You're going to have to run it out. You're going to have to, make enough room where you can go at it again. But pushing it so far for so long, it'll hurt. And so I think it's okay for someone to take a
yeah.
break and pull away.
Yeah, no, and if you can if you are so full that you can decompress, kudos to you, because when I get there, I just throw up on everybody.
That's
I'm
the
so
truth.
full, guess what? Everyone's about to get thrown up on today because I've had enough.
That's what happens. I mean, you keep you like what you said, like I'm juggling 50 things. Sure, I'll take your other one. And then you can only do that with a good attitude so many times until you get to the 70th second and the 108th. And then all of a sudden, I almost said mama blows up. But it's not only moms, but moms definitely get it's not because they're, like moms are like bad people. It's just that you've ate so much, like you like, and I so because I'm singing Jennifer's song right now. It's so funny, because I think moms can definitely look at this and relate to it. But back, and it's funny because I feel like a lot of conversation is going to be outside of business. It is business related, but it's also life related. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just what we all deal with.
Yeah, and when you are passionate about your business, it is a part of your life. Because, like, the normal entrepreneur and business owner, they aren't doing that because they just wanna get another paycheck or they didn't have
Mm,
anything better to do with their life or with their day. Most people that own businesses are in that business because they are super passionate about it, so it is a part of your life. So I feel like a lot of it does bleed over, which again points to why this conversation is so important, especially during this time of the year. Mitchell, you said something earlier about just having those non negotiables. How do we protect those non negotiables? Like for me, it has to be scheduled. I could say something's a non negotiable, but unless it's on my calendar, this is me. Everyone may be wired differently, but if it's not on my calendar, it is not going to get done. Perfect example. So I have a child who goes to math tutoring every week. It's a thing that we do every single week. It's not a surprise that it's going to come up. But I can't tell you how many times like the tutor was like, "Oh, hey, am I going to see so and so today?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes." Why? It's not on my calendar. Like it is, and I'm thinking, April, why don't I put, even though it's an appointment for my kid, it needs to be on my calendar because if it's not on the calendar, this is a non negotiable thing. This is something I pay money for every single week. Why is it on my calendar? So, note to self, like, hello, get it on the calendar. All the non negotiables in my life, it doesn't matter how important they are, and I have the best intentions to follow through and commit and do all the things. If it is not on my calendar, it will not get done. So, something as simple as your kids' tutoring or dating your spouse. Yes, dating my spouse is important, but if it's not on the calendar, nine times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, the time's going to get filled up with something else. That's just me, Mitchell. Maybe you're different. Maybe there are people who the non-negotiables are just so non-negotiable that whether it's on your calendar or not, you're going to get it done. That's not me.
So listen, man, we can relate to that situation so much. So it's funny that you're talking about math tutoring. Replace math tutoring with gymnastics. Every single week, every Thursday, matter of fact, two of my girls have gymnastics and they overlap. Exactly. They're kind of off a little bit, but they're same time, same day. One's a little bit earlier, which means one's a little bit later. And every single Thursday, I have to ask Jennifer when the first one is and when the second one is every single time until I put it in my calendar. Jennifer is not a calendar person. She doesn't like the constraint that she feels when she has it, because if the curveball is thrown, she's going to feel guilty because she's not following the rule of the calendar, because she is a giant rule follower. So what she does is she removes the rule, and she's not so much of a shoot from hip type person either. She's complicated, people. Okay. She is what she is. And I love her to death, but that's what she does. She removes the rules so that she doesn't feel that guilt of not following it. So the structure, I like knowing what's coming. I like to be able to plan and not be surprised with, I got to drive across town and I have 2 minutes to do it, so on and so forth, and trying to prevent that as much as possible. So anyways, it's funny you mentioned calendar, because in that way we can relate 100%. So I remember a long time ago, by the way, if I have to explain, if those who are watching, the reason why April looks like she's bawling her eyes out because of all the water in her eyes, she just had this giant coughing spell. And if you are an avid listener to the podcast, you would remember that happened to us before, except backwards, where I basically almost died. Today, April almost died from coughing. Anyways, but I remember a long time ago, someone suggested in a talk that I was listening to where you have a calendar and you set aside dating your spouse, and you put that in your calendar. And the first time I heard that, I was like, that's so, like, why do you have to schedule it? How come that's just not something that you just do? And yes, that's true. But just like what we alluded to earlier, sometimes in our stressful times, the people that get affected the most are the ones that we love. And rather than, when you're juggling plates, sometimes the first things that go is spending time with loved ones. I mean, among other things, but that's one of them. And so if it's in your calendar and you live by your calendar, or at least there's a reminder, even if you're not someone maybe like you, April, where if it's not my calendar, I don't do it. And if it's in my calendar, you can guarantee it's going to get done. You live by your calendar, and that's great. But if you're not that type of person and it's in your calendar, it's more a suggestion. At least you're being suggested and reminded, hey, you need to love on your spouse today. This is your time for your spouse. But for some people, and especially for you, and maybe for most, like if it's in your calendar and you live by it, it's important to you. It's a priority if it's in your calendar. And it's important to do all the things for business and life and all these things. And that your spouse made the cut. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a great thing to do.
Yeah. I think the moral of today's episode is that, memories are worth protecting. Right? We're talking about putting family first, creating boundaries, setting our schedule. Why? Because we don't want the people that we love to get the leftovers of our time. We want to create opportunities, especially during this holiday season, really all year long, but specifically we're talking about this holiday season. How can I make the most memories with the people that I love so they're not feeling like they're getting the leftovers? So, Mitchell, just any final words about memories and how creating boundaries and having a schedule will allow you to make the best memories this season. My heart is that every single listener, they're not so stressed this holiday season that they miss the special moments. Like, can we create systems in our lives? Can we have boundaries? Can we have schedules so that, yes, the business can get done, but then also we're enjoying
Yes.
making memories with our families?
I think my last thought is, it's just a simple reminder. We all know that family's important. We all know that we love our family. We all know that we need to sacrifice for our family. We all know that. And we're very quick to do that. We also know at the same time that business has to get done. And you can't only love your family by spending time in memories. You also have to work for your family because you love them. Both are important. And also because of work, and if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably very driven. You're probably a very passionate person. Yeah, and the product or the service you provide fuels you. It gives you a meaning and a purpose, and that's part of your purpose. All that's awesome. And at times our purpose can overshadow things and we forget why we're doing it. why this is the both of us are believers, why God gave us thing but it's a vehicle, it's a responsibility, it's a job that was given to us by him to love on our family. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. But at times what we do overshadows the reason why we do it. So again, I just say my last thought is take time and remind yourself of why you're doing it, and not letting it overshadow, and keeping priorities in check. You'll have busy seasons. That's fine. Keep it a season and keep the protected time with your family.
Yeah, I love that. Man, you do not want to miss any episodes in this entire series where we're talking about how to just protect our family time, create margin, create boundary, because we want you to enjoy this season. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode, and share this out on social media. Tag us at wedream.media. Hey, if you want to get further connected with us to elevate your brand, listen, we're going into a new year. If you're like, man, I need a better strategy to not be overwhelmed with social media in the new year, make sure to send us a DM on Instagram. We would love to get connected. So until then, remember always that we
We
dream
dream
media.
media.